What's up? Good evening. You're listening to another episode of Taking the Over. I am your host, Gunn, joined as always by the T Man on this, the official sports wagering podcast of Boot Crew Media. And T, we're having a party tonight.
Oh, yeah?
We're
What
having
kind of party?
tonight. Saints party.
It's a good party.
We're going to monetize the Saints, and we're going to monetize people getting punched in the face.
All right. I'm sure there's some alignment there. So,
Yeah. Well, no, they're two separate things. That don't, yeah. I mean, obviously the Saints are self-explanatory, but punching people in the face, that's UFC 274. Have I told you about UFC 274 yet, man?
just a little birdie here and there, but not too much. Why don't you enlighten me?
Let's talk about it. The calf slicer, the Peruvian necktie, the banana split. There are tons of ways to come out on top in the octagon, and for UFC 274, there's one more. With DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, new customers can bet $5 on any fighter to win and get $150 in free bets. If they do, so choose your fighter, then sit back and watch the action unfold. Anything can happen on fight night, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, you've got a sure thing for UFC 274. Bet $5 and get $150 in free bets if your fighter wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BOOT. Throw down $5 on any UFC 274 fighter to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. We can help the folks with that tonight. That's code BOOT this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. And see show notes for details. We're going to talk more about all those restrictions later. But right now, let's talk about the Saints. You excited?
Yeah, let's do it. I got all the odds pulled up. I've done hunking zero research, but
that's okay.
This is all by feel, and I think I have a good feel about them.
So you don't think you've done any research on the Saints as a Saints fan? Let's set the record straight. You are, of course, a Saints fan. There's a Fleur de Lis flag behind you. I have that same. There's an October game day towel hanging on your wall. I mean, you as a Saints fan, we as Saints fans, all of the overtakers out there that are Saints fans, and even those that aren't. Because if you're not a Saints fan and you happened upon this show, you're going to hear some very helpful information on the Saints. Because we apparently know a lot more about the Saints than the people that are making the odds out there. I really feel, and hey, look, blinded by my own bias, blinded by my own joy, I think there's a lot of good opportunities out there. There's one specifically that I got pretty crazy aggressive with today. But we'll get to that. Saints versus Vikings was announced today in England. That's the game that's going to take place at Tottenham Stadium. Saints opened as 1-point dogs in a home game in London to the Minnesota Vikings. I went ahead and grabbed that today.
You took the Vikings, I assume.
No, actually, I took the Saints in the 1 point at minus 110.
I mean, that is the definition of a coin flip bet.
Whew. I don't know, man.
They're either going to win or they're going to lose, and it's.
I don't feel like that line's getting any worse. Out. Who's the Vikings quarterback?
Kirky boy.
Mm-hmm. That one. Well, I mean, that bet. Look, that's a sports fan. That's a blind fandom vanity bet. I mean, that's not the smart bet. I just did it because it was fun and it was there, and I was like, I feel like this is a better value that I'm going to get in October. Saints +1.
Yeah, I would. Based on which I think we're both thinking, they'll be favorites, maybe even close to big favorites in this game.
I would think so. So them getting a point, I jumped right on that. There's lots of Saints futures out there, and all these bets that we're going to make on the Saints right now. The thing is, it requires patience. You know what I mean? These futures bets, we're betting on things that are happening at the conclusion of next year. At the conclusion of next, not even the beginning of the season. I mean, the London game, that's October 2nd. Most of the Saints futures involve the Saints end result. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? They're going to win the NFC Championship. They're going to win their division. How are they going to finish in their division? My favorite bet of all of them is the win total, as reported by DraftKings Sportsbook. It's 8 flat. Before we get there, I'll just go ahead and run down the list. Plus 5,000 for the Super Bowl. I don't see enough value to pick the Saints at plus 5,000 for the Super Bowl. I want to see that because that feels low. Plus 2,500 to win the NFC. Plus 350 to win the division, but you can also get the Saints and Tampa in a 1-2 exacta box for like minus 125 odds on DraftKings right now.
That was like plus 250, I think, 2 weeks ago when we talked about it.
Right? That line's moving.
Well, you're even like the NFC odds. Your Vikings that you just took a dump on are plus 2,200. Saints are even worse off than the Eagles. Eagles are plus 1,800. In what world do the Eagles have a better chance of winning the NFC than the Saints?
I saw an ESPN analyst pundit talking, and he's an actual former player, I think. I can't remember. Probably not. But he's like, I think the Saints are the third or fourth best team in the NFC right now. And you can't really show me why they shouldn't be.
Yeah. Do you think I think part of it's the unknown factor with Jameis coming off the injury?
Yeah, but I mean, what's the unknown? Is the fear that he's just going to instantly hurt himself again?
Yeah, it's just kind of overhyped. I'm saying this is what's probably affecting the market and everyone else's lack of confidence in us. It's that common storyline like, oh, we got hurt last year. He's fragile. I mean, it's a freak injury.
Yeah, it was a freak injury, and he's a guy that's not really injury prone. And even I think the Saints win total at 8, because you look at this is a team that won 9 games last year. Do you see a world where the Saints are not as good record-wise given dude, we started Ian Book and guys that were getting fitted for uniforms in the locker room for the regular season Monday Night Football game. I was at that game. Everybody got COVID. It was just fun. It was like
What a consolation prize.
Yeah, that game was kind of sad. I didn't get COVID that game. I had like superhuman COVID immunity or something from previous COVID and vaccines. You gotta get everything.
Yep. I'll hit our entire audience in one sentence.
Yeah. No, Saints won 9 games last year. Vegas has them at 8 this year. Minus 110 straight. It's just standard non-weighted flat line.
I wouldn't be shocked that as we get closer to season start that creeps up more and more and more as more people bet on it. I have like an irrational fear that Honey Badgers, Jarrisburg 2.0 for some reason, probably not going to happen, but it's always in the back of my mind.
No, but he's more than capable of. His play has not dropped off in the last 3. He has 13 interceptions in the last 3 years. We saw with the Pelicans this year the infusion of somebody like CJ McCollum into the locker room. Honey Badger's that type of guy, dude. He is you get an instant team captain caliber guy. I don't even know if he should be team captain because I don't know who's going to fill those roles. It might be the guys that are already doing it. I think you have a captain spot opening up with Jenkins' retirement, so it would make sense for Matthew to jump in there. But I feared that it was going to have an impact on the lines, and we've seen in some places where it does. But that win total of 8 just jumps out at me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We saw Tampa. We saw Tampa Saints top two. You said it was plus 250 a couple weeks ago. When we talked about it. It's minus 115 now, based on the draft and Honey Badger alone.
Here's an interesting thought. How many wins do you think it's going to take to get into the playoffs in the NFC this year?
10.
Do you think 10?
I think 10.
Because you have the Saints to make the
And
playoffs at plus 150.
I know, but I don't like the value there.
I know, but my thought is if you're taking the over on 8 but if you
Go
thought
ahead and
9
grab
was
that
enough
too.
to get in, yeah, you're basically the same bet in the sense, one with plus 150, one was minus 110. That's a pretty narrow window to win more than 8.
I think 8 opens you up to a lot of flexibility because it's 8 flat. So if they only win 8 games, if they win one less game than last year, and you brought up Jameis, fear of the unknown with Jameis, maybe another Jameis freak injury, we have Andy Dalton as a capable backup.
God,
come on, man, that's what he is. That's what he
he's
is.
Fine.
He's a great little backup to have. That's what What's what? And then you got Taysom could always go fucking Taysom it up again.
I don't want anything even close
I don't
to
want
a replication of last year.
No. Well, you're not going to have that because we had, dude. We last year's quarterback situation, and we still won 9 games. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And this defense that was good got better, and the offensive line was in shambles. It's not as in shambles. It's much better off. Wide receiver, my goodness. Running back,
Yeah, that's the.
But if we do good on the line, you 0 running backs taken in the first round. We could recap how awesome I did on my NFL draft bets. That was fun because under 2.5 QBs was easy, and the much talked about under 6.5 wide receivers in the first round was easy.
Nailed it.
I feel like we talked about at least one of those bets for 2 or 3 shows.
I think it was the receiver one.
It was the receiver one. Oh yeah, quarterback one was more of a day of post show. But
it's a taking the over drinking game from now on. Anytime we reference under 6.5 wide receivers in the 2022 draft, feel free to take a shot.
Well, I really want to take a shot for the under 2.5 quarterbacks as well, because what's funny is they won't pay you on that bet. They won't pay that bet until 3 quarterbacks were taken, and so that went on a lot longer than the public felt it would be, in Vegas too, apparently.
My question with the Saints is running back. That's a good point that you touched on. Who's there beside? Is Kamara's going to miss at least 4, maybe 6?
Yeah, we got an undrafted free agent from, I believe, Baylor. I don't know. It's the Saints. That's what I mean.
Tony Jones Jr.
Tony Jones Jr. was shot out of a cannon. Cannonballs lose speed.
Yeah, we need like a Kyrie Robinson, Chris Ivory type guy to step up for like 4 or 5 games out of nowhere.
It could happen. They could sign a vet. Anything, dude. Anything could happen. The Saints are a place that players want to be. That's what a Honey Badger signing does for you. It shows the league. It shows the world. Dude, Honey Badger didn't come to an 8-win team, my friend. I got ridiculous on the 8 flat. I tested the limits.
What does that mean? It could mean a lot of things.
I don't know. We never talk about that, but I mean, I'm proud of it.
Hefty unit size or unit multiple?
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of patience. Yeah, you're basically buying.
It is a lot of patience. I look at it like yeah. It's a little annuity or something. I don't know. No, I'm no finance guy.
We should become, I guess, in a sense, sports betting touts and people like us are
I
financial
think I
advisors in
think
a
like no,
sense.
dude, I was thinking about this the other day. What we should do, what you and I should do is yeah, like year 3, we should go tout. Like after this football season. No, 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 no. Let's do it as like performance art. Let's be touts. Let's be ironic touts, but fuck it, we'll be touts. And see what happens.
We can make like a Bizarro World show, like touting the over or something.
Oh no, we'll just tout this one up. We'll just make this one ridiculous with
Uh,
fucking touting, dude. And we'll do it with our social media presence too. Like it'll be ridiculous, over the top, fucking touting for
we're gonna
sure.
have 3 times as many followers, and they're all gonna be bots.
That's okay. I like that. That's how you get to the top.
Okay.
That's how you, dude. I came here to fucking. I didn't come here to win. I came here to take over.
Hence the
It
name.
says it on the fucking screen right there in the background.
Okay, let's. You want to tout? I'll
Let's
tout.
be
I don't
touts,
have
dude.
any
Let's be
good picks.
touts
So.
for a year, please. I didn't ask. I'm glad I didn't ask you this in private, because you probably would have instantly said no.
Yeah, but I hung up. This is
Uh-huh.
very. I have a lot of moral objections to this.
Yeah, I don't, because I know that. I mean, I'm not serious. I'm not serious.
All I gotta ask is, where's Larry Fedora?
Where's Larry Fedora at? We could
We don't have
probably
to
get him
get.
on the show if we were touts, dude. If we were touts, think of what we could do.
He stopped by the Taking Over studio to join the show, and then he said he had to go get a pack of cigarettes and milk, and he never came back.
Never came back. This shit happens in real life.
That's
Dude.
our next. Instead of finding Ben, where's Larry?
Yeah. I didn't. I mean, I sang Pearl Jam last show. I felt bad about that. I might open the show with that this week.
Please.
We could be touts. You want to do it? Like not? No, I'll make a deal with you. Not until after this football season. After this football season, we're gonna point. We're gonna point back to the highlights of our records, and then we're gonna tout it.
So the 2021 Super Bowl prop sheet and the under 6.5 receivers are going to be our prime shining achievements.
Oh well, I wouldn't even say we've started yet, but I'm happy with how we've been touting so far.
Yeah, I got to get into a dark place to like.
You don't think it'd be fun? You
Yeah,
like do it like Joaquin Phoenix. Like he didn't actually become the Joker. He just acted like the fucking Joker for a year.
You got to get into the mind of a tout to become a tout.
Your reluctance to this troubles me.
I'm just thinking of how bad I've been in non-football related picks recently that it's tough for me to stand behind any sort of confidence or tout.
Does it matter? I didn't say
No.
we were going to be good touts. Just be touts.
We got to create like separate Twitter accounts and have like a tout version of
ourselves. A tout version of the Twitter. That seems. I'll let you handle that. I'm just going to tout from my fucking original.
A lot of passwords to remember.
Yeah,
too much.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, we'll have to like set up a what's the best way? Should we do a Patreon at the minimum?
Yeah, I would say the going rate's $80 these days from market research I've done.
Ooh-wee. Great job on the documentary trailer this week, by the way.
You know, Ben, if you're listening, which I assume you are, of course, every week you do, I'd have to imagine you haven't responded to any of my Twitter messages. Are you ducking me, Ben? Or are you nervous that we're onto your trail?
You see, and I know that Ben's listening, and I'm saying, Ben, I apologize for T's hostility, but I mean, it's starting to feel like some Hannity and Combs shit. But I support you, Ben, and I know who you are.
The little good cop, bad cop thing there. Throwing all the psychological things.
Just come at him from both sides. See what happens.
No, Ben, I just want you to respond. Acknowledge me. Maybe even a retweet. That's really what I want the most.
He does. That's not what he does. You're going to be waiting a long time. Don't hold your breath. You'll turn blue.
All right.
I told a man that today. I told a man in his 80s that today. Don't hold your breath. You'll turn blue. It's good advice.
Yeah, that's
on certain things.
Topical. Yep.
At Ben the Better responding or retweeting you. Yeah, that's one of those things. Is there anything on the NFL that you're particularly excited about? I know you said you've got some odds pulled up. I mean, there's like individual players, and I like to get into that. It's just individual player futures, like player prop futures, award winners, things like that. Man, I like to wait until after, camp and preseason to place those. I don't think. I mean, that's too much of a crapshoot. Like, I'm excited to play some Jameis Winston bets coming up. But I don't, I don't recommend placing them now. But I do want to be clear on this. If you're listening to this show and you want to make a 90% return on your money, go bet Saints over 8 wins at DraftKings Sportsbook.
I like the Saints. There's a weird one. Saints to beat the Chargers plus 45,000. Specific Super Bowl result, or over the Bills plus 20,000.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute our guest because we just added a guest. I didn't want him to accidentally talk.
Don't even think about talking.
You can't talk. But this is we are also finish your you got nothing.
Throw a dart. Saints over the Bills plus 20,000 for $1.
Saints over the Bills plus 20,000 for $1. Interesting. We're going to talk UFC 274 tonight, and we're joined by Mike. Mike, are you a Bergeron or a Bergeron?
I'm a Bergeron.
He's a fucking Bergeron. I knew it.
Tell my wife that, 'cause she says it wrong.
Hey, is it not a great day to be a Bergeron because the Saints had a press conference today for a man named Badger as well?
I was watching that while driving, and
that's good.
And I did not have a stand for that. Just
what time was that?
3:30, 4 o'clock, maybe.
3:30. Boy, all right, yeah, I missed that, but that's awesome, dude. Mike does our UFC live casting here at Boot Crew. Mike, you're the UFC guy, right? You're the UFC king.
I'm supposed to.
Pod's name is Blatherskite. Did I say that properly?
Blatherskite it is.
Yes. I speak the patois.
So Blatherskite it is. One who talks a person that talks at great length about a certain subject, but makes 0 sense.
I like that.
So I just looked up the synonym for nonsense.
Oh.
And then that came up.
That's what came up?
And that was it.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
Should be like the description to our show.
I listened to your UFC. I've heard you talk about it. You know what you're talking about, and that's important to me because I like that. Because I'm a big UFC fan, and as I've said before on the show, as T knows, I take 2 sports seriously betting wise. That's NFL regular season playoffs and UFC. Like everything else is just fireworks. Everything else is just like lighting money on fire. If I don't care, it's just gambling. But like when I bet on NFL or UFC, I take it personally. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been watching since the 90s, the VCR days, DVD days.
Yeah, when it was really frowned upon.
It was like you went to the video store and it was like the miscellaneous sporting rack.
It was behind the beads.
Yeah.
No. It was not behind the beads. No, it was like as a kid, it was like the closest you could get to behind the beads. And sometimes you might go into a like family-owned video store and somebody had fucked up and put like some behind the beads stuff on the sporting miscellaneous rack, and you'd happen upon it there. But sporting miscellaneous, where you could go get the VCRs and the DVD tapes of like the early UFC, like the 1, 2, where they fought multiple times in a night.
No weight classes.
No weight classes.
No weight
rules.
classes.
No rules.
No rules. Zero rules.
There's no rules. You could bite. No, maybe you couldn't bite.
Maybe not, you could pull hair.
You could pull hair. That happened. I believe you could bite.
This sounds like those Kimbo Slice backyard videos.
It was crazy, and of course, Hoist Gracie won.
Yeah.
and it was shocking because he
Right.
weighed like what, probably 165, 170 pounds at the time, and he was this wiry Brazilian guy in a gi. Nobody knew what jujitsu was. He unveiled a martial art to the world.
Right.
And it was like UFC 1, like 2, 3, those first, like those guys would fight multiple times in a night, and he'd just tap them all out, no matter what. If they were pulling hair, kicking in the groin, he didn't care.
Like Tank Abbott and all of those guys back
Yeah.
in those days. Tito fought maybe not around like UFC 1 or 2, but I mean Tito and Liddell came around the beginning of, I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit later, not at the very, very
Well,
beginning.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and then as time goes on, then the UFC gets bought by the Fertitta brothers, and when the Ultimate Fighter season with Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin, when that aired, that was like the rebirth of the UFC, and UFC just exploded like wildfire. It was like fucking poker, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, "Woo, we're all about it now." And I was in from that early wave of the VHS tapes all the way to, I was in like grad school or college when the fucking Ultimate Fighter season went nuts. And like we watched that 5-round fight. We watched that fight so many times.
That's
Like the first weekend, like somebody had a DVR or some shit.
greatest fight of all time. It's up there. There's two guys gassed out, no quit, blood everywhere.
But it brought back the UFC. And like I said, so I've been following UFC for a long time. And one of the things that's fascinating about UFC 274 is it's got some like old school fighters on there. They got fighters in their 40s fighting. They got fighters in their late. They've got somebody like Oliveira that's 32 and started fighting in UFC in 2010.
Right.
I mean,
Somewhere
that's wild.
He's so, and Lozon, Joe Lozon.
Joe Lozon is fighting Cerrone. That's just like, I mean, that's like a Legends fight. You know what I mean? Like that's gratuitous. Do you want to get into, like, are you excited? Are you hyped for there's been a couple good cards. UFC 273 was pretty tight. It's all about UFC 273. UFC 274 has got the, like, I'm gonna do something special for this shit. Like this is gonna be, this is one you watch no matter what. It's packed.
I'm stoked. Originally, and I don't know if I don't know who they replaced in that spot, but originally they had Glover Teixeira on this card too. So when they announced this like months ago, I think Teixeira, one of them got injured, so they're fighting at 275. I think UFC 275. But I'm jacked. I like Michael Chandler, Tony. I know Tony Ferguson is on like a string of losses, but this is a massive card. On the undercard, almost everybody's ranked. Even the people that I don't know, because I don't know every name of all these fighters. I'll be honest.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's to be a UFC fan in the year 2022.
Right.
The UFC roster is so massive, and there are so many events, and it's easy to have access to the events. Just get ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Or stream it, whatever. But you can watch. Like, oh, it's hard to watch fight. It's like UFC's out there. You can get it
every week.
I mean, I'm seeing guys like I said, Oliveira, man. I remember when he wasn't the greatest, 145 pounder.
He is. He's just on a string. He wasn't this good. He's absolutely that good now. And he just works dudes and does it almost flawlessly. I know he knocked out Chandler, but like even outside. Oh no, did he choke?
No, I believe he knocked out Chandler.
He knocked out Chandler. Yeah. But like aside from that, he just works dudes. Like we had said in the message earlier, like or on Twitter, he just works dudes. He wears them out. Like he can stand and bang with them like Ferguson does or like Gaethje does. He's as good as the rest of them like that. He's got an incredible, like his cardio is top notch. He'll stand and bang with you for 3 of his last 4 wins or 2 of his last 3. I don't know for sure. But they're like 3rd round submission finishes. And they're all, like you can go back, I bet they're almost all identical fights.
That's good segue into my first bet in totally uneducated UFC betting. Alternate total rounds. Do you think it'll go over 2.5 rounds?
I think he wins in 3 by submission.
So that will get you plus 110 odds if you think over 2.5 rounds.
Plus 110.
But that's not the bet, T. I'm about to tell you the bet.
Okay, please educate me.
You want to bet?
Just
See, when you're betting fights, T's an amateur fight better. You just throw in, but he's a data guy, and he thinks he's following a outcome driven bet. This fight is going to go, over or under 2.5 rounds, and that is a traditional way to do it. But on DraftKings, you can get more specific, and you can bet on things like Charles Oliveira to win by submission, and get that at plus 120 odds.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do both? Why not
Well,
parlay
he might. I don't want to lose the bet if he taps him out in the first round, and I don't want to lose the bet if he pulls off a masterpiece in the final 11 seconds by choking him out either.
Right.
Like I'm betting. I'm still betting to have fun. I'm still betting into like what I think the narrative of the fight is going to be, and there's more of a certainty of him choking him out at any time. And there's fights. In fact, I like that you bring up the over/under rounds thing. And for the record, my recommendation, one of two recommendations of wagers to place on the main event, which is, Oliveira Gaethje, is what we've been talking about the whole time. Championship fight, their first time fighting. Oliveira's on a 10-fight win streak. Guy's been in the UFC for 12 years, submission specialist.
Holds a record.
Holds a record. Gaethje, hell of a striker. The only guy that's really beat him in the last few years is Khabib, which you can absolve him of that. With Oliveira being the favorite, like if you it's not worth Oliveira as a minus 165 money line bet, right? And what we've been saying without saying it with these bets, like T's talking about with the over under the rounds, because we think the outcome is Oliveira is going to choke him out. Or outcomes, Oliveira chokes him out in any round. You can get better odds than just a straight money line of minus 165. That's why we have to get a little bit cute and a little bit fancy with these bets to find the value. Gaethje is a plus 145 underdog, but that's not enough value for me to take. Like value plays real heavy on UFC bets too.
Where's Gaethje from?
United States.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was be like Eastern European. That was going to change my whole strategy for betting.
No, he's a USA white guy, not a European
Arizona
white
guy. Oh, people from Arizona, they can fight too. Probably. I don't know.
I've seen Karate Kid.
Yeah. Never
Cobra Kai,
take a kid out of his comfortable into a new spot. They can fight. He was forcefully moved there. His mom put him in a car to pick up, and
I feel like I said, I already placed the bet for. You got dogs.
That's the dogs are barking. We're going underdog pick here. It has to be. It'd be the perfect intro.
I like Oliveira by submission. That's the bet for me. I think that's the good one. You with that? Would you ride with that, Mike, or you want to try your own on this fight? And also, I do have a second bet. My second bet is actually just Oliveira to win outright, but I've parlayed that with the co-main, where I also believe Thug Rose, who's a minus 210 favorite, to win outright too. I parlayed those two for plus 137, and then I'm betting just Oliveira to win by submission by like plus 120.
I like the parlay. That's how I was going to bet. I was going to take Oliveira and Rose. I'm new to the whole betting game.
Yeah,
like just in general. I betted once. I started betting in college at Southern Miss with Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, that's how I know him. So I betted with him, like off the books, right? And then I got like $600 in debt, 20 years old, and I freaked out and I sold my Nintendo Wii on eBay. Thought they were gonna like break my fingers.
Yeah, you went all in. Like you said, I'm not gonna approach this as like a healthy, fun little distraction.
Correct.
I'm just gonna fucking pawn my Nintendo.
Yeah. I was only betting on like
it's
like 19 parlays or some stuff.
You might not need a
I don't do that now.
Right now, I hope not. I'm sure
we do our fair share. Don't.
Yeah,
I have shame you.
I do like that. I do like that parlay. I was gonna take the two of them. I feel like Chandler Ferguson could go either way, so I wouldn't go there. I like specifically doing it by submission because Gaethje is tough. I don't really see I mean, it could happen, but I don't really see Oliveira knocking him out. And Thug Rose, I mean, she's Thug Rose. Carla Esparza is not on her level. Not when you have Pat Barry screaming at you from the other side of that cage like the way he does. That is relationship goals. That is watched there. If you're watching that fight this weekend, T, that's the thing to watch all the whole night is Pat Barry, who's a New Orleans native, in Thug Rose's corner, and the like him screaming at her, motivating her, is something to see.
Are they married?
Yeah, yeah. He's a former
Oh.
UFC fighter from
New Orleans. He fought down here a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
You just gave me my good idea for some weekend plans with the missus. Can we go yell at her in the octagon? And see
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. It's weird because he's a big, awesome dude, but his wife is like
rail thin.
His wife is like she's Tiger Woods and he's like Phil Mickelson. Like she's better at MMA than he ever was by a lot.
Yes,
by a lot.
Yeah.
She's a champion. Two times.
Two-time champion.
Two-time champion.
She only lost to Andrade from that slam.
She's bad to the bone. So, like I said, I like parlaying that with the main event Oliveira, just straight out Oliveira, straight out. And you get, like I said, plus 137 on that. Also, to go back to T's over-under rounds bet, there are 2 fights where I see value in that. This card is fascinating, like we talked about before. It's got older fighters on it. Shogun is either 40 or 42. Mauricio Shogun Hua. And he's a plus 195 underdog to OSP, Ovent St. Pro. And OSP's minus 240 favorite. Honestly, I think that fight is a crapshoot. Either OSP is just going to go out there and destroy him in 30 seconds. I don't know. I don't think it's 2 older guys that haven't had a whole lot of success. I don't think either of them is bound to come in like out of shape. They're both like professionals. They're both tuned in and locked in, despite their tenured guys. I like the over rounds in that fight because it's only 1.5 rounds. Now, the problem with over 1.5 rounds in the Shogun OSP fight is it's minus 155. So I'm going to parlay that one as well with one other fight that I love. I love finding over rounds bets in women's fights. Usually it's women that are like less proven in UFC or there's questions about like I like usually over rounds bets in women's fights will have longer odds because of more women's fights go to decision or later rounds than men's. There's not as many bang quick out like 30-second knockouts, minute knockouts as there are in the men's division. There's a lot of like up and coming or going up or going down 3-round fights on undercards all over the place. The Macy Chasson Norma Dumont fight is one of those. Like there's 2 women in that fight. I completely got lost because I was trying to talk about the parlay, and that's Chandler and Ferguson. Chandler and Ferguson over 1.5. What's your best bet for the whole show? For the whole UFC 274?
Like a lock, just taking somebody straight up. Any
if
bet.
you see anything, like if you see like there's any most certain outcome that's going to happen on this card.
I think it's Thug Rose. I don't want to count Gaethje out because Gaethje has an iron jaw and he has heavy hands. And his fight with Chandler, props to Chandler. I think Chandler gets a bad rap because he's lost like what 2 of his last 3. He came into the UFC hot, had that big knockout, but then he's lost fights. But the fights that he's lost, when he lost to Oliveira, he didn't look bad against Oliveira. I'm kind of bouncing around. When Chandler lost against Gaethje, that was a slugfest. And Chandler looked great in that.
Right. But Oliveira just dispatched Chandler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was at that. I went out to see that fight. You know what I mean? And it was like, huh?
You were at that fight?
No, I was at like the fucking IP Sportsbook, but that's going out for me.
You lucky dog, man.
I was at that fight. There's a certain place, and if you sit at the bar, you can see like into the book and smoke a cigarette at the same time.
Nice.
I found that place. Now, that Chandler Ferguson. I mean, you think the sure thing is Chandler?
I would take Chandler. Tony, I love Tony Ferguson. He is a dog, but I think he's just punch drunk. Like he's beat up, and he may still be tough, but he's not there anymore. Like he's still good.
I don't think you can knock out Ferguson.
Yeah,
I don't think Chandler can knock out Ferguson.
Chandler might
That's
probably
why,
win.
yeah. I've got that fight over 1.5 rounds.
That's what you said. It was 1.5. I would totally take
over
that.
over 1.5 rounds. Now it's minus 155. So you parlay it with Shogun OSP. You parlay that one to be over 1.5 rounds as well. And that comes to plus 164 on DraftKings Sportsbook.
What does it come? Can you parlay that with the over under the women's fight, or do you not go 3?
On the women's fight, my bet on the women's fight I like is Macy Chasson versus Norma Dumont.
Right.
Over 2.5 rounds on that fight. Like they didn't set that line at 1.5 rounds. They set that line at 2.5 rounds. So it's a little further out of reach already. And then it's already juiced to minus 235. So you don't want to take that one.
Right.
Now, what I really, 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 really like, and I read actually, I can't even claim originality for this bet. I read it was an MMA writer on like Sherdog or somewhere, either The Athletic or Sherdog, which are both sites that are good to go visit to get MMA analysis. Just, The Athletic, just a big sweeping site, and then Sherdog, of course, bootcrewmedia.com, promo code boot. I feel like Chasson via decision plus 350 is probably my move of the night. I think Macy Chasson is gonna tap out. No, not tap out. Win by decision.
Win by decision
Versus Norma Dumont. That fights. There's no value by over 2.5 rounds. That means like the space, the difference between minus 235 over 2.5 rounds and where Chasson wins the fight on the judge's scorecard is a huge odds gap. Does that make sense, T?
It does. I was also going to suggest if you like Chandler and Ferguson to go the distance, or you like it to go long, or you think it to be a quick fight.
I think Chandler Ferguson goes the distance. I think that without a doubt goes the distance.
Over like 2.5 rounds is plus 120 alternate total.
Over how many?
2.5 plus 120.
And that's only going to be a 3-round fight.
So you get plus 120 odds.
You're good at this, and you didn't even realize it, man.
This is just numbers. You could say this is, will a red fish swim faster than a blue fish and still tell you the same analysis.
But no, you're like, I don't know shit about UFC.
That was good.
That's the bet of the night.
Yeah. Just take that.
Take that.
Over the alternate.
Take that over. Take that in addition to everything that we've already mentioned.
Just add it to the never-ending board.
Should I recap what we have so far?
Mm-hmm.
We got Chasson to win via decision plus 350. That's my bet of the night.
That was my dad.
What's up, Dad? Cowboy Cerrone versus Joe Lozon. That's one of those fights I'm not even going to bet on it because that fight does not require a bet. That's just two legends.
It's a fan service. We deserve it. I
don't want to bet against either one of those guys. It would make me feel bad. I wouldn't feel good.
I'd take Cerrone just because I know his name. I don't know the other guy's name. So
well, you're not going to like the value at minus 165.
Oh no, I got to parlay that with a few other things. Make it worth watching.
You see how he instantly pivots, Bergeron? Do you see how he does that? It's like I do the same. It's like we're fucking robots. It's like we're gambling robots.
Poorly
He just
programmed
heard.
at
He just
that.
heard. Oh no, I can't just bet that. I have to parlay it.
Yeah, it wasn't I want to. It's almost a need. It's a physiological need.
Shogun versus OSP. Shogun plus 195. OSP minus 240. We like that fight going over 1.5 rounds, even though it's minus 155. We're going to parlay it with Chandler versus Ferguson going over 1.5 rounds. See, I'm going to take your bet as well, the over 2.5 rounds at plus 120, which is also the bet of the night. But I like parlaying over 1.5 rounds with over 1.5 rounds in Shogun OSP and getting plus 164 on that. And then you got Thug Rose minus 210 versus Carlos Esparza plus 175. Bajaron loves Thug Rose. That's his pick of the night. I like parlaying Thug Rose money line because that minus 210 is too much for me. With Oliveira minus 165 versus Gaethje plus 145, and I like parlaying Oliveira with Thug Rose both money line for plus 137. And then by submission, any round, plus 120, Oliveira.
Yeah, those are good.
That's how we make the sausage, Mike.
Y'all are always hitting though.
Well,
only the ones we tell you about.
Yeah. Can we? I was talking to a guy on Ben the Better's Twitter today.
What do you mean on his Twitter?
Like in a comment under a Ben the Better post.
That was like a Ben's announcement.
This guy was like, "Wait, you mean why don't you just fade yourself? You're like the greatest gambler in the world if you did that." And Ben posted this sly gif of like like there's a secret, whatever he did, and then I posted like this guy. I was trying to pimp out your video that you made. Be like, you need to go check out the documentary trailer that T-Man made with the piano music and the fancy edits, exposing the truth about Ben the Better, teasing our coming documentary. Mike Bajaron.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw that video. Yeah,
we're making a documentary on the world's best better.
It's a very niche target market, I would say.
No, I think most of the listeners hate it.
Yeah,
I think it's a vanity thing. It's for us, but
this is our like passion project. Mm-hmm. This is the whole reason we go.
I was having a conversation with a guy underneath a Ben the Better post, and I said that he needed to watch the thing so he could get smartened up on the whole Ben the Better situation. He's like, "I am smart. Don't call me not smart." And I was like, "Hey, bro," I was like, "I'm sorry, man. I meant no malice. Like, I did not mean ugly." I was like, "Sometimes people like me will use a patois, and like smarten up means like I show you something that you didn't know. The magician shows his assistant that he's not actually going to saw her in half. He smartens her up on the trick. And I said, all apologies. And he was like, yeah, man, I get you. Cool. Thank you. And then it's like Twitter beef de-escalated by just nice human beings.
I followed that guy after I saw y'all's thing, and
you should follow him.
He owned that like role, right? Didn't
you should subscribe to his Patreon? It's only $80 a month. And if but listen, I'm not.
It's actually not bad investment.
Yeah, it's not a bad value, Bajaron. In fact, I would advise you do this before you pawn any more Nintendos. Is you just subscribe? Like you get some. I don't. You find a good tout that doesn't want to be a tout. Because when you talk to good gambling guys and you ask them to be touts, like just straight up, they don't. It's bad form. Because I asked he to be a tout next year with me, and he wouldn't do it.
Felt kind of ill, actually, even saying the word.
Do you get what we're saying? Do you speak like we want to, like in our third year of existence, we want to turn taking the over into just like shameless plugging of how good we are at gambling.
Right.
And like you should pay for our picks. I want to ironically do it for like 365 days just to do it.
We don't win enough to have a daily show, so it'd have to be like a monthly edition. Every once in a while, we win a few picks.
T thinks you have to win in order for it to gain. I don't know. I mean, again, he's trying to have a good tout service. I'm just saying, have a tout service
If we're
for
gonna
a
do
year.
it, might as well do it the right way.
We're gonna do it.
I take the opposite approach. I take the approach of like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like I
That's
don't
what we do
know
now.
how I got here. I
Yeah,
don't know why they asked me to do this, but
Right.
I'm game. Like I'm here for it. I'm not gonna say no.
that's our current
Well-
business model.
Yeah.
100%.
That's how we actually are. We're gonna put on. We're not actually touts.
1,000%.
I mean,
I'll
look,
just
dude, you
see
know,
the
gambling's so random. I mean, as like a sociological experiment, I documented my cat picking NFL last year,
Nice.
and he finished up like 54% against the spread.
No way.
Netflix bought the rights to the documentary. Actually, it airs next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of animal. There's a lot of animal touts. I tried to do kitty. Maybe I'll just if you don't want to be my fucking tout partner, I'll make the cat my tout partner. How about that?
There's a tortoise who's probably available. Talk to his agent.
Oh, wow.
You should write in like a whole agency for gambling animals. You already got 2 of them.
I think the tortoise lives near Ben.
Well, if he starts walking out, get there by Christmas.
Mike, you got anything that we didn't get to tonight that you definitely want to make sure that we do?
Not as far as UFC is. I'm glad that because I haven't bet yet. So I'm glad that I came on here and talked with y'all before I did. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I know that I'm gonna go through.
Are you excited about the Chaos Williams fight?
The who?
Chaos Williams?
I feel like I should know that, but I don't know.
You don't know who Chaos Williams is?
Well, that's
No. Is that Bellator or something?
No, that's UFC undercard. He's fighting Randy Brown. You didn't watch any Chaos Williams fights, man?
Wait a
He
minute.
fought like during the pandemic and shit.
Is that your birth name? That's a pretty cool name.
No, his
for a
actual
fighter.
birth name is not Chaos. It's close. He
Wait,
just goes by Chaos.
I'm looking. Oh, wait, you're right. Let me see. I want to see a picture of this guy. If he was fighting, you said he was fighting through a bunch through COVID or something?
I think he fought a good bit during COVID, yeah.
I mean, I guarantee I saw him if he did. I feel like I should know who that performer.
He's a favorite. He's minus 120 against Randy Brown. Randy Brown's only plus 100. I like Chaos Williams on the undercard in addition to the Macy Chasson via decision. Plus 350.
You know what? I was listening to y'all before, like when I was getting up, getting the kids ready or whatever, setting the kids up, and taking the Saints over. It's at 8.
It's
Yeah.
at 8. Yeah, you want to talk about that for a minute? You want to talk about the Saints? You want? Hey,
That's
do you want to? Welcome to the Saints party, by the way.
Oh my God, dude, I'm
Dude.
freaking out over here still.
Doesn't it feel great to be a Saints fan today?
It's
Hasn't
amazing.
it felt like it's a great time to be a Saints fan?
It is. I mean, look at where we were. I don't know. Look at the receivers we had last year. Like we know everybody was hurt. Everybody's hurt. Winston's down. We had the worst separation in the league as far as like getting off the ball, getting off the line. Like all of that. I'm just like offensively, I'm excited. And then they stack up with the Honey Badger. And it's exciting. I'm very excited. They're definitely going to win more than 8 games.
We would think.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, you never know with injuries, but
Yeah,
Minus 110.
almost feel bad
I
talking about it
recommend.
already.
I recommend. I don't want to recommend Mike bet a lot of money on this, but I'll just share. I did bet a lot of money on this, Mike. I've never felt as good about anything.
about it.
Ever.
Dude. That's like my. I mean, I'm a fan, right? So of course I'm going to go there, but like I think we're contenders. So we're a playoff team, and you can't not make the playoffs.
The NFC stinks as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think there's, you know what I mean? I don't think they have to go through many. There's no one that's that much better than them.
No, it's not like we're in the AFC
Right.
North or the AFC West. I mean, we do play the AFC North, but
But you get
hell with them. I don't give a
two
damn
free
about
wins.
them.
Yeah, no.
2 free wins out of Atlanta this year. 2 free wins out of Carolina this year.
We're doing the
And,
Cohen specific. Don't do this.
and,
This is bad
and
juju.
Tampa.
we're sleep in Atlanta. That's
Tampa.
a fact.
Oh, I'm like, who's playing quarterback for either one of those teams?
Cordell Patterson is adding it to his position list. For
That's probably
fantasy.
their best. That's probably their best chance.
I had while I was driving, I screen recorded a part of Tyrann Matthews' press conference from earlier today, and I'm gonna like dub over like my voice as an announcer I can just say it here. I'm gonna double over
You
my
can do
voice
that.
as an announcer.
That can be
Like,
done.
I don't know. Like, and I'm gonna just ask him like a legitimate question about football and coming to New Orleans, and then I'm gonna dub over my voice as him, just trashing the Falcons, and then I'm just gonna post that later.
I didn't know you could do that.
I use
Is that how TikTok works? Is that
I
how?
use it with an app called InShot, and I dub over
InShot.
all my stuff.
I thought you meant like not can you physically do it? Like, is there technology available? Like, is
Yeah,
that
that's
legal?
what I was asking.
Like, you can't do it. You shouldn't be doing that.
No.
As a lawyer, I advise
You're gonna get in trouble. I don't know.
You can't just be talking over footage that you recorded on your phone.
That's what I thought you meant. And I was like, what?
That's not what I meant, but that's equally as funny. I feel like I didn't realize you could in touch.
InShot. It's free.
Don't give him any ideas.
Writing that down.
Of course, put that as whiteboard.
Drake London's gonna have to throw a 46-yard touchdown to Drake London if they
Dude, I heard Booger McFarland on Russillo's podcast, and anywhere he goes on a podcast and talks from here on out, I want to hear it. He said Drake London, he's like that dude. Yeah, he's big and like prototype as big as you like would want a wide receiver to be, and had amazing numbers at USC. But he's like that dude couldn't get open. He couldn't get open against Utah State.
He needs a good quarterback to like old Drew Brees when he fit into real tight windows, just a little bit of separation. But with Mariota,
and that's what I love about Olave. Go look at Olave's tape. Anytime he is breaking it over, he's coming down with it. It's contested catches. His look at all of them. There's so many.
First thing on his list is like he runs good routes. I'm like, okay, well that's good knowing that won't be a problem.
Right.
And he's fast and he's got size. You want to see him put on a little bit of weight, but like,
right.
Oh, dude, Jameson Williams was probably the boom or bust, the home run or bust pick. And
did he go to Detroit?
Yeah, and
they have a history of picking great
not
receivers.
Happy about it. He's not happy
at all,
it, dude. He's pulling a. They showed Eli. They showed when the Pelicans did the trade with the LA Clippers, and we got Gordon. Who'd we get? It was like the press conference. It was like the three guys were in New Orleans uniforms. They were so unhappy. People were using that as a meme next to Jameson Williams and his introductory. And Williams is standing next to Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick, who looks like he's been taken over by like a cyborg. Like he's the Terminator now.
Jeez.
And he's the Terminator, but he keeps a journal.
Falcons win totals at 5, by the way, just for context.
I don't
trash that some more.
I don't see the same value there that I see at Saints 8. Like Saints 8 is just disrespectful.
And you said
that's stupidity.
Yeah,
it's not even 8.5.
Maybe they stink. We're looking at them to like rose-colored glasses, which we've been known to do from time to time. What if they're really like a 6-win team and we're like convinced they're going to win the Super Bowl?
They won 9 last year, and they started Ian Book and Trevor Siemian.
Right.
After they lost Jameis.
Exactly. This
is a 10 or 11 team. 11, maybe, I think 11 win easily last year with Jameis. It's that kind of world we live in, T. I don't think you understand how happy we are about the Honey Badger.
Is T a Minnesota fan? Is that what I call it?
No, he's a Saints fan, but he's not organically from Louisiana, so he doesn't get the.
So
Honey
I have
Badger.
no credit, and I can't. I get it. I respect it. I think it's cool. I like LSU. I never saw the appeal in him as a player.
Who? Winston?
No, I love.
No, he's talking about Honey Badger.
Oh,
you hear this blasphemy?
Oh my gosh! What? There's everything he's about. He's so.
I just don't see how he fits in the grander scheme of the secondary.
What are you talking about?
I'll revisit this week 2.
He doesn't like. I don't know. People, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I went to a card conference once, and he refused to sign my jersey.
Oh, there it is.
No, I'm
The
just
truth-
kidding.
the truth
That's-
is-
that's-
No, I wish you just stuck with
You're not
Personal
making that
direction.
up. You're not
Tell
making
me
that
your
up.
secrets, T.
I've
Tell
never
me
met
your
him.
secrets.
No, I again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm excited. He like good energy, like the hometown thing. But I'll wait till week 2 or 3 before I start making any comments on his.
I feel like either CJ Gardner-Johnson or the Honey Badger could fill Malcolm Jenkins' role.
See, that's my thing.
That's what I talked. I think he's going
And
to
then
take.
the other one,
He's going to take the captain position that Jenkins had. He's going to.
Correct.
He's
The
going to
other one
assume that
slide
role for
down.
sure.
They slot corner all game.
That's my concern is there's no like that traditional over the top safety.
That's what we hope Marcus May becomes.
Yeah, but he's missing 4 games
don't
anyway.
know
I think for a suspension.
Is he suspended? I thought it was.
I think
We
I
got
thought he had something where
PJ.
he's missing a few games.
We got PJ. We got CD. We got the young man we drafted.
Debo.
PJ's good
We got
within 10 yards
Debo's
of the line of
straight corner.
scrimmage.
Debo's not going to play any kind of safety role. I think he's
Did
too
they-
valuable at
The
corner.
kid they drafted from Tennessee can also play safety. Apparently, he's a big speed
Yeah,
guy. Around
that's
like
what I'm saying.
4.3
That's
or
what
4.4.
that's who I was referring to.
Yeah. I think we're gonna miss Marcus Williams more than we think. Not so much Jenkins, but Williams the most.
Yeah.
I feel like the steal of the draft was Kyle Hamilton falling all the way to 14. Maybe not the whole draft, but for him to fall that far and to go to that Ravens defense after if they all come back from injury,
Mhm.
that secondary is loaded. I was so pissed when he went there. I don't have anything against the Ravens, but like, damn it.
Yeah,
The Ravens had a good draft.
They did.
The Ravens had a damn good draft. They did that Ravens thing where they take the best player available.
Yep.
And they don't. I mean, that they got a very good safety. I don't know. They got a very good center.
Is Honey Badger going to change his number?
He's gonna be 32, I believe.
32 was owned by Bryce Thompson, but
Yeah, I think that's
you
gonna.
just cut that guy right
Who the
now.
hell is that?
Well,
That's
everybody, you saw everybody on Saints Twitter was posting that the jersey link is broken. The jersey link is down to buy the jersey.
I still have a Kenny Vaccaro jersey. I'm making his paste over Matthew on the back.
There you go. Well,
You can do that. That's a lot.
I think that'd be a good start for you, man. I
There
think
you
that's where you should start.
See how it feels.
You
It
should.
feel good.
You got. I think you got some apologizing to do. You're
He-
gonna have to walk a path.
Do you know what it is?
You're gonna have to
with
do
him?
that shame walk like they did in Game of Thrones when Cersei was naked.
If he plays well, I'll be happy. He gives me big Jamal Adams vibes, like all bark, no bite.
But he's 2 or 3 time All Pro. And
Just-
for good
He's a
reason.
ball he's a ball hawk. He's one of those that, like, he just, in addition to having
He's tough.
the physical tools, he has like the things that you cannot teach. It's just inside of a person, or it's not. And he is the epitome of that.
I'm Team Honey Badger, but I'll keep a close eye on the analysis. I'll be watching the
The
all
first thing you should do is you should get that Kenny Vaccaro jersey, and you need to paint over the Kenny Vaccaro name, and you need to put Matthew on there, and you need to put that on, and you need to start your redemption.
Yeah. Then everybody will know that like you want it. You know, you
Mhm.
want it. You're
trying to
trying.
change.
You're trying, and then week 7 or 8, then they see you walking around with a real one.
This is
Mike, I'm sorry.
HBA,
I'm
Honey
sorry I
Badgers
brought-
Anonymous. Yeah,
I'm sorry I brought Honey Badger up.
I'm so excited about. I got to get a jersey ASAP.
T was going to commit Saints fan suicide live on the show tonight.
I'm enjoying baseball season. I can't even get into the emotional state of Saints football yet. It's a lot of drain. And you're kind of in it for 6 months straight.
You been betting any USFL, Mike?
Not at all.
Could you name 4 teams? Could you name all?
Hey,
the
how many teams? I guess we can still play the USFL game now that the season is
I
on.
couldn't
It doesn't
even
even
name-
matter. We play a game on this show where you got to name as many USFL teams as you can. Go ahead, go. No using Google.
The Guardians? I don't know a single one. I don't
That's a
even know if they have-
baseball team, isn't it? Isn't Guardians a baseball
I
team
feel
now?
like they're a USFL team. It sounds right. I'll give you credit.
Oh shit!
I appreciate that.
Isn't that what Cleveland is though?
They are. Yeah, the baseball team was renamed the Guardians. I could see in my head, I could just see a USFL team being named the Guardians. I just
Was that
Oh,
is that
shit.
XFL team? Maybe
Okay,
that's
can
who
you
the
try and give
Cleveland
us
sued.
cities? Okay, can you give us cities?
New Orleans.
That's one. That's one. Very good. Some people didn't figure that out. Some people didn't
Oh, the
immediately. know
Breakers, right? The New Orleans Breakers.
that. In New Orleans Breakers. Yep.
Okay. That's it. Larry Fedora is the head coach of them, right? That's all.
Uh-huh.
Bonus points.
Yes, good friend of the show,
Yeah.
Larry Fedora.
Is he really? No
Mhm.
way.
We like
Yes, he
to think
is.
so.
Yeah.
You didn't know we had him on the show?
No.
Yeah.
I can't. This has gone on too much.
I was
This
at Southern
charade
Miss.
has to
He
end.
came. I went to Southern Miss when he came to Southern Miss, and
Oh, he was a real force of nature at Southern Miss.
he had the one season. He got us hyped
Mhm.
up that one year.
I bet he did.
My only complaint with him is he doesn't wear a fedora on the sideline. It's like you gotta have a
It's
persona.
contradicting.
How'd you like Hattiesburg?
I had a great time. I never went to class. I never went to class. I may or may not have smoked a lot of weed.
That's right.
I drank a lot, and then I came home and went to work. So
That's what you do. That's what you do.
you know, you only live
Yeah.
one life. I had a great time.
It's good to do that. No, yeah, I had a similar experience. Oh no, dude. USFL. We've been betting on USFL. In your absence, somebody's got to bet on USFL, or else they won't even offer it. So we're really carrying the flag for that. And T put me on a bet this week that I second guessed, but I just said, "Fuck it, I'm betting with my friend," and that was the Breakers.
Oh yeah.
Plus 6 or minus 6.5 in a game they just outright lost.
I didn't. I was purely picking my favorite team, the only team I know, basically.
Right.
6.5. I was at the DraftKings Sportsbook, and I figured, you know what? There's nothing else. Nothing else is on Saturday night, so.
Oh yeah, you got to bet on the game. I don't say this that much publicly, but I took the under. I took the under on every USFL game this weekend. I'm doing it again next weekend.
Did it pay
I've
off?
already.
After I won a Pelicans game where I bet like late when we were down. I don't know what it was. It was great odds, and I won a bunch of money. Then I was up late that night, and I bet on a few. It were really small, like $5 bets before I went to bed on some like random tennis matches on the other side of the world, and lost all of those. And I never did that again.
Well, if you want to bet on tennis overnight, you want to bet on tennis, and then just go to bed and wake up to some wins. We'll tell you about that off air. We got a guy.
Okay. All right.
$80 a month. You're in. Oh man, that's all I've got, dude. We've been going. We went over. We're having so much fun, dude. Mike Bacheron, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, we appreciate your time. We hope that you had a good one with us. I'd love to talk UFC with you further. I'm a huge fan. T, is there anything you need to get to that we didn't get to?
I'm all good. I have a clear conscience going into this week. Namaste.
Will you do the thing with the jersey? The Vaccaro deal?
I'll see if I even have that jersey anymore.
Okay.
That was a long time ago.
Okay. Oh, it wasn't that long ago.
It feels like ages.
Wasn't that long ago. Mike Bacheron, you got anything else to tell the people?
I'm straight. Just tune in. Saturday night, Boot Crew. I'm not sure. I'll probably be live on YouTube, Facebook, all of them. Probably tune in Saturday night. It's gonna be a wild card. And thanks for having me. To y'all,
dude. Thanks for coming. But look, we got a tradition. We just want you to say good night to all the beautiful people listening and taking the over.
Say the whole thing.
Just say
good night to all the beautiful people who listen to Taking the Over.
That's it.
Need a card next time. It's a long thing to remember if you're not expecting it.
Right when he said it, I was like, damn, I didn't hear a word he said.
Everything's turned into a test. That's how we are tonight. It's been a fun one, dude. We thank y'all so much for tuning in. See you next week. Cheers, hugs, love. Take over Saints 8 wins season total. Bye. Good night. Ending the broadcast.